Somewhere inside you, there is a voice that whispers quietly beneath the noise of the world. It says you were never meant to crawl. You were never meant to beg for love or chase validation. You were born to walk with your head held high and your heart steady like a flame that refuses to die. That voice is not imagination. It is the echo of your forgotten crown. Stay till the end of this message, because what you will feel by the end will not just inspire you for a moment. It will remind you who you truly are. That is the reward for every second you give to yourself today. Life has a way of making even the strongest soul forget her worth. The world teaches you to measure yourself through others' eyes. It tells you what beauty should look like, how success should sound, what love should feel like. Slowly, the truth inside you gets buried under opinions, expectations, and endless comparison. And one day, without even realizing, you stop seeing yourself as a queen and start acting like a servant to fear and approval. You begin to say yes when your heart screams no. You start lowering your voice to make others comfortable. You silence your ideas because you fear being judged. You carry other people's burdens while forgetting your own dreams. And slowly that crown begins to slip, not because you were unworthy, but because the world trains you to forget your throne. But understand this. No one can truly take away what was born within you. The power, the grace, the strength, it never leaves, it only sleeps. And every challenge you face, every betrayal, every disappointment is not proof that you are weak. It is the universe calling you to rise again. And remember, the most dangerous thing you can ever do is forget who you are. When you forget, you allow others to define you. You start living from a place of lack, thinking you must earn love, prove worth, or fight for validation. But when a queen remembers her crown, she no longer seeks. She becomes. The difference between a lost woman and a queen is not in what they have, it is in what they believe. One believes she's broken, the other knows she is becoming. One waits to be chosen, the other chooses herself. One looks for permission, the other creates her path and walks it alone if she must. The crown does not appear when life is perfect. It appears when you choose dignity in the middle of chaos, when you keep your peace while being misunderstood, when you walk away from what insults your soul, even if it means walking alone. That is when your crown shines the brightest. You see, every person who ever doubted you was not your enemy. They were your mirror. They were sent to show you how far you had drifted from your true self. Every painful moment that made you question your worth was not a punishment. It was a lesson to remind you that gold does not fear fire. You were never losing yourself. You are being refined. Think about it. When a queen falls, the world expects her to break. But she does not. She rises slower, calmer, stronger. Because she knows that no fall can erase the blood of royalty that runs through her veins. The strength you need is not outside you. It has been there since the day you were born. So today, pause, breathe, look within. The crown is not a symbol of arrogance. It is a reminder of balance. It means you are responsible for your energy, your thoughts, your boundaries. It means you no longer allow your past to define your future. It means you walk with purpose, not pride. With grace, not guilt. There will be people who do not understand this version of you. They will call you distant, selfish, or proud, but let them talk. A queen does not explain her glow to those still sitting in darkness. She understands that her peace is too sacred to be wasted on convincing others. The moment you start acting like the queen you are, the world will shift around you. People who once ignored you will sense your power. Opportunities that once passed you by will begin to align. Not because magic suddenly appeared, but because you did. You stopped living in fear and started walking in faith. The crown you carry is not made of gold. It is made of self-respect, of discipline, of quiet strength. Every time you choose growth over comfort, your crown shines. Every time you speak truth instead of pretending, it grows heavier with honor. And every time you love yourself enough to let go of what no longer serves you, it becomes unshakable. So remember this, you were never ordinary. You are never ordinary. You were only asleep to your greatness. And today is not just another day. It is the day you remember the queen within. The day you stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. The day you rise without apology. You are not just a woman trying to survive. You are a queen who was born to lead her life with purpose and power. And once you remember that truth, nothing and no one can ever make you forget it again. From the moment you take your first breath, the world begins to shape you. It tells you how to act, how to speak, and how much space you are allowed to take. Slowly, those invisible rules become a cage, built not from walls, but from opinions and fear. You begin to believe that being quiet means being good, that being humble means staying small, that strength should always be hidden. But these are not truths. They are chains disguised as virtues. Many women learn to dim their light because they were told it's safer not to shine too brightly. They silence their voices to keep the peace, not realizing that peace built on silence is only submission. You were never created to blend in. You were made to stand out with purpose. The illusion of smallness is the lie that tells you you're not ready, not enough. It whispers that you must prove your value before you can believe in it. That lie has been repeated so many times that you started mistaking it for truth. But the truth is simple. You do not need permission to exist fully. You do not need anyone to tell you your dreams are valid. The world does not benefit from your silence. It grows when you rise. Every time you hold back your voice, a part of your spirit folds into the shadows. And when enough parts of you hide, you begin to forget how powerful you are. The queen within you does not ask if she's too much. She asks if the world is ready for her authenticity. She doesn't apologize for her ambition or her strength. She understands that shrinking to make others comfortable will never bring peace. Real peace is born when you live as who you truly are, not who the world wants you to be. When you stop playing small, you start meeting the life meant for you. You start attracting people who see your worth instead of fearing it. You stop fitting into spaces not designed for your greatness. And in that moment, you remember the throne was never taken from you. You just stood too far away from it, believing you were not enough to sit. Every queen must first learn to rule the kingdom within. The outer world will always reflect what lives inside your mind. If your thoughts are chaotic, your world will feel unstable. If your heart is heavy with doubt, every path will seem uncertain. But when your inner world is balanced, even storms begin to obey your calm. True power does not begin with control over others. It begins with mastery over yourself. Your mind is your palace. Every thought you allow in it becomes a servant or a thief. Some thoughts build you, others destroy you silently. A queen learns to guard her mind the way she guards her throne. She chooses thoughts that strengthen her courage, not the ones that feed her fear. She speaks to herself with respect because she knows that self-talk is the language of destiny. There will be moments when the world feels loud, when opinions and noise try to shape your peace, but silence is your weapon. In silence, you can hear your truth. In stillness, you meet your strength. The inner kingdom is not built in chaos. It is built in discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-love in motion. It is the promise you keep to yourself when no one is watching. To rule your inner kingdom means to face your emotions with honesty. Anger, fear, sadness, they are not your enemies. They are messengers showing you where healing is needed. Do not run from them. Listen, understand, and then rise above them. A queen never lets emotions control her actions. She lets awareness guide her decisions. When your inner kingdom is strong, no one can take your peace away. You stop reacting to everything that tries to disturb you. You stop chasing people or moments to feel complete. You realize that everything you need was always inside you. Courage, confidence, and clarity. That is the power of self-mastery. That is how a queen rules her world, by first conquering her mind. There comes a moment when every queen must face her reflection and ask, who am I beneath the roars, the noise, the expectations? This is the mirror test, and it is not about beauty or perfection. It is about truth. When you stand before that mirror, stripped of masks and pretense, what do you see? Do you see the woman who doubts herself, or the woman who is quietly rebuilding her strength? Most people look into mirrors and only see flaws. They search for what's missing instead of what's rising, but the queen looks deeper. She does not see wrinkles, scars, or tired eyes as imperfections. She sees evidence of survival, proof of battles fought and lessons learned. She understands that her worth is not tied to appearance, it is tied to presence. The mirror reflects more than a face. It reflects your belief about yourself. Every time you call yourself weak, The mirror agrees. Every time you say you are not ready, the mirror confirms it. But when you choose to look at yourself with love, the reflection begins to change. The energy in your eyes shifts from fear to certainty. You begin to see not what you've lost, but what you've become. The mirror does not lie, it simply repeats what you believe. So if you want the reflection to change, the belief must change first. Speak to yourself with the same respect you give others. Remind yourself that confidence is not born in the crowd. It is born in silence, in the moments when you choose to see value even when no one else does. Every morning when you face your reflection, do not ask, am I enough? Instead say, I am becoming, because a queen is never finished. She is always evolving, always growing, always remembering who she is. The mirror will only show you your power when you decide to see it. That is when the reflection becomes royal again. Every crown looks beautiful from a distance, but only the one who wears it knows its weight. The path of self-respect, discipline, and strength is not light. It demands effort, patience, and sacrifice. The crown of a queen is not made of gold and jewels. It is made of responsibility and resilience. It is the weight of choices, the strength to rise every time life tries to pull her down. Many wish for power, but few are ready to carry what it truly means. Power is not about control. It is about consistency. It means showing up even when you are tired. It means doing what is right, not what is easy. It means standing tall when no one stands beside you. This is the weight every queen must learn to carry with grace. There will be days when that crown feels too heavy, when your confidence shakes and your purpose blurs. You may question whether you are strong enough to hold it. But that is the very moment your strength is being shaped. The crown is not supposed to feel light. It is meant to build your endure. Every challenge that tries to break you is secretly training you to walk taller. The weight of the crown teaches patience, it teaches humility. It reminds you that greatness is not given. It is earned through the small, unseen acts of courage you choose every day. The crown molds you in silence before the world sees your shine. That is why the queen never complains about the burden. She understands that heaviness is a part of her transformation. So wear your crown with pride, even when it hurts. Straighten your back when the world tests your resolve. Each time you refuse to give up, the crown becomes lighter, not because the weight has changed, but because your strength has grown. The weight of the crown is not your punishment. It is your proof that you were always meant to rule your life with power and grace. There comes a point when silence is no longer peace. It becomes self-betrayal. A queen learns that her voice is not meant to please others. It is meant to protect her worth. Self-respect begins the moment you stop begging for what should already be yours: love, honesty, and basic decency. When you learn to say no to what drains your spirit, you begin to honor the woman you were always meant to be. Self-respect is not pride, it is clarity. It is the quiet understanding that not every person deserves access to your heart, and not every situation deserves your energy. When you respect yourself, you no longer chase attention, you attract it through the calm power of knowing your value. You no longer explain your boundaries, you live by them, and those who truly see you will honor them without being asked. Many people confuse kindness with weakness, but they are not the same. A queen can be gentle and still unbreakable. She can forgive and still never tolerate disrespect. Self-respect does not make you hard, it makes you whole. It teaches you that walking away is not loss, it is wisdom. It shows you that protecting your peace is not selfish, it is sacred. Every time you lower your standards to keep someone close, you teach them how to treat you. Every time you stay silent when your soul aches to speak, you teach yourself that your feelings don't matter. But when you finally choose respect over approval, something changes. Your energy rises, your confidence strengthens. The world begins to mirror how you treat yourself. The voice of self-respect does not shout. It stands firm, it speaks with calm certainty, not anger. It says, I am enough, I am worthy, and I will no longer settle for less than I deserve. That voice is your power, it is the foundation of your crown. Because when you respect yourself, you remind the world how a queen should be treated. The hardest battle a queen ever fights is not with the world, it is with herself. The mind can become a battlefield where doubt, fear, and insecurity wage their silent wars. The enemy is not always outside. It often lives in the whispers that tell you you're not ready, not enough, not deserving. Winning this battle means learning to silence those voices and replacing them with truth. Every time you step forward despite fear, you win a battle. Every time you refuse to let pain define you, you reclaim power. Strength is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to keep moving even when it hurts. The queen does not deny her pain. She transforms it into purpose. Her scars are not reminders of weakness. They are symbols of survival. When life breaks you open, it is not punishment. It is preparation. It is shaping you into someone who can hold more wisdom, more patience, and more strength. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. It teaches you what you will no longer tolerate. It shows you where your limits were, so you can rise beyond them. The queen does not escape her wounds. She learns to heal through them. There will be days when your emotions pull you in every direction, when doubt clouds your vision and exhaustion whispers to quit. But remember, peace is not found by avoiding the storm. It is found by standing still in the middle of it. The battle within is where courage is born. It is where faith becomes real. When you learn to master your inner wars, the outside world can no longer control you. You stop seeking validation from others because you have already faced your truest critic, yourself, and you won. The queen who conquers her inner chaos becomes unstoppable, not because life is easy, but because her spirit is unshakable. When the battle within begins to calm, something powerful awakens. Presence is not about being seen, it is about being felt. It is the silent confidence that flows from a woman who knows who she is. A queen does not chase recognition or validation. She moves with quiet assurance, and her energy speaks louder than words ever could. The power of presence comes from stillness. When you are no longer desperate to prove your worth, you begin to live from peace instead of pressure. You walk into a room without saying a word, yet people notice, not because of what you wear or how you look, but because of what you radiate. Presence is the energy of calm power. It demands no attention, but it receives it naturally. Many try to gain influence by speaking louder, trying harder, or seeking control, but true influence is born from alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in harmony, your energy becomes magnetic. You stop forcing things to happen. You stop running after what is not meant for you. You attract by being still, by trusting that what belongs to you will find its way. Presence is also discipline. It means you no longer react to every distraction, insult, or temptation. You protect your peace because you understand its value. You do not engage in every argument or fight every battle. Your silence becomes your strength. The queen knows that not every noise deserves her voice. When you master presence, you become untouchable. Chaos may surround you, but it cannot shake you. People may try to test your peace, but they cannot take it, because presence is not something you perform, it is something you become. It is the moment when the world realizes that you no longer chase crowns made of gold, because you already wear one made of grace. A queen understands that her energy is her empire. It shapes her world, her relationships, and her destiny. Every person you allow into your life either adds to your peace or takes from it. The circle around you reflects what you believe about yourself. When you begin to honor your energy, you stop letting everyone have access to it. There is a difference between being kind and being available. Kindness is a gift, availability is a choice. Not everyone deserves your time, your trust, or your attention. Some people come only to drain your light, to feed on your strength, to take what they never intend to give back. Protecting your energy is not cruelty. It's wisdom. It is how you keep your spirit from being diluted by chaos. The queen chooses her circle with intention. She does not seek crowds. She seeks truth. She surrounds herself with people who challenge her growth, not those who keep her small. Her circle is not built on comfort, on respect, for respect. She understands that loyalty is not about staying. It is about staying true. Energy is contagious. When you spend time with people who carry peace, you feel lighter. When you stay around negativity, your spirit feels heavy. So be mindful of who you allow to stand beside you. Protecting your energy is an act of self-respect. It is a silent way of saying, I value my peace more than your approval. The circle of energy you build determines the direction of your life. When your circle is pure, your path becomes clear. When your circle is right, your strength multiplies. A queen does not isolate herself. She simply refuses to sit where her spirit is not safe. That is the difference between living drained and living divine. There comes a moment when a queen finally stops asking for validation and starts walking in her truth. For it is not a loud transformation. It is silent, powerful, and permanent. This is the rebirth of worth. It begins the moment you stop apologizing for your strength and start embracing it as your natural state. The moment you stop shrinking to fit in and start expanding to be seen for who you truly are. For too long, many have mistaken humility for self-denial. They've been taught to hide their confidence so others don't feel small. But worth does not grow in the shadows. It blooms in the light of self-acceptance. When you remember your worth, you no longer seek to be chosen. You realize you were the choice all along. This rebirth is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to yourself. The part of you that knew you were powerful before the world told you to doubt it. The part that believed in dreams before fear learned your name. When you reconnect with that truth, something shifts inside. You begin to move differently. Your energy becomes calm but commanding. You no longer chase love. You embody it. You no longer beg for opportunity. You attract it through certainty. Reclaiming your worth means setting new standards. It means no longer settling for half effort, half love, or half respect. It means walking away from anything that makes you forget your value, no matter how familiar it feels. It means trusting that the universe always mirrors how you treat yourself. The rebirth of worth is not an event. It is a lifestyle. It is waking up each day and choosing to honor yourself first. It is speaking kindly to your reflection, forgiving your past, and believing in your future. Once a queen remembers her worth, she becomes untouchable, not because she's above others, but because she finally stands where she always belonged. The world often teaches that to be strong, you must hide your softness, that emotion is weakness, that compassion makes you vulnerable. But strength without softness becomes cold, and softness without strength becomes fragile. The beauty of a queen is her ability to hold both the fire and the calm, the storm and the stillness. Softness is not a flaw. It takes great courage to remain kind in a world that has tried to harden you. It takes real power to forgive when you have every reason to hate, to love when you have every reason to close your heart. The queen understands that tenderness is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the ability to feel deeply without being broken by what she feels. At the same time, she is unshakably strong. She sets her boundaries and keeps them. She stands tall in her truth even when it makes others uncomfortable. Her strength is quiet but undeniable. It does not come from control. It comes from knowing that she can face anything and still stay true to herself. The balance of soft and strong is what makes her presence magnetic. She can comfort without losing authority. She can be gentle without being naive. She can cry without losing her crown. This balance allows her to move through life with grace, never needing to prove her power because it speaks for itself. A queen who embraces both her softness and strength becomes whole. She no longer hides one side to protect the other. She allows her heart to feel and her mind to lead. And in that harmony, she finds true peace, because being powerful is not about never bending. It's about bending without breaking, loving without losing, and standing without fear. Fire Queen carries an energy that speaks louder than her words. It is the unseen aura that enters the room before she does. The quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. The grace that makes others straighten when she passes. This energy isn't built overnight. It's shaped through countless moments of choosing dignity over drama, peace over chaos, and growth over comfort. Your energy is your signature. It reveals how deeply you know yourself. When your energy is scattered, the world feels unstable. But when your energy is centered, everything around you begins to align. A queen protects her energy fiercely, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. She knows that not everyone deserves access to her presence, and not every situation deserves her reaction. This energy is not about appearance, it's about vibration. It's in the way she speaks, how she listens, how she holds her silence. It's in her posture, her stillness, her ability to stay composed when others lose control. She does not chase, she attracts. She does not argue, she understands. Her power is calm, not chaotic. A queen's energy also heals. It uplifts those around her, not by effort, but by example. When she walks in authenticity, she gives others permission to do the same. Her calm presence becomes a mirror that shows others their own potential. And even in solitude, her energy radiates. Because true power doesn't fade when no one is watching, it deepens. Guarding your energy means being selective with where you place your time, your attention, and your heart. It means choosing silence over noise, self-reflection over comparison, and purpose over approval. The energy you carry becomes the world you create. And when that energy flows from a place of strength, grace, and inner peace, you no longer need to prove that you are a queen. The world simply feels it. Stillness is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. In a world that glorifies noise, movement, and constant chasing, the ability to be still is the mark of true mastery. A queen understands this. She doesn't rush to respond, doesn't fight every battle, and doesn't let chaos pull her into its rhythm. Her silence is not submission, it's control. Stillness gives her clarity. It allows her to see through illusions, to separate what truly matters from what merely distracts. When emotions rise and the world demands reaction, she pauses. In that pause, she finds power. She knows that every storm passes, but what remains after the storm is what defines her. So she stands calm, rooted, untouchable. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing only what matters. It's the art of moving with purpose, speaking with intention, and acting with awareness. It's the refusal to let urgency steal peace. A queen who has mastered stillness no longer reacts to life. She responds to it. Every choice she makes comes from alignment, not impulse. In stillness, she reconnects with her intuition, the quiet inner voice that always knows the way. She learns to trust it more than the noise around her. She no longer looks outward for answers because she realizes the real wisdom lies within. When she closes her eyes and breathes, she returns to her throne, the one built inside her soul. The power of stillness also transforms how she influences the world. Her calm becomes magnetic. People feel safe around her, inspired by her presence, drawn to her composure. She doesn't demand respect, she earns it effortlessly through grace. That is the essence of royal energy, the unshakable calm that no chaos can destroy. For a true queen, stillness isn't an escape, it's her greatest weapon. There comes a moment when the woman who once doubted herself realizes she no longer fits inside the old version of who she used to be. The fears that once held her now feel too small. The voices that once silenced her now sound distant. This is the moment she rises, not because the world finally gave her permission, but because her soul demanded it. The rise of a queen doesn't happen in a single act of glory. It happens quietly in moments of choice, when she chooses self-respect over approval, when she chooses growth over comfort, when she chooses to stand tall even when her knees shake. Each choice adds a brick to her throne, built not by others, but by her own hands. Rising means accepting that not everyone will understand her strength. Some will fear it, some will envy it, and some will try to test it. But a queen no longer lives for their acceptance. She understands that her worth doesn't need validation. It's already written in her being. She no longer chases love, opportunities, or recognition. She attracts them by simply being who she is meant to be. The rise is not about perfection, it's about truth. It's about walking with confidence through both light and shadow, knowing that both made her who she is. It's about forgiving herself for the time she settled and thanking those moments for teaching her she deserves more. Her crown is not made of gold, it's made of lessons, of strength, of grace earned through endurance. So she stands now taller than before, radiating quiet power. Her presence changes the atmosphere. She doesn't need to announce her arrival. The energy speaks for her. This is not the beginning of her reign, it's the continuation of her becoming. Because once a woman remembers she is a queen, there is no force on earth that can make her forget again.